Welcome to the channel. I'm George Gonzalez. I'm a VR game developer. I worked on 3 games in the past 3 years that have been published on the Meta Store. So today I want to talk to you about something very important that I've been seeing a lot around YouTube, and that's game dev burnout. I want to address some of the issues that will prevent it. Step one is have the right goal. And what do I mean by have the right goal? It means that the time that it takes you to make a game that will help you reach that goal is within an understandable time frame. If you're a beginner, it should not take you longer than a year. You have to think about your time and what's it worth to you. Even if you do this on your spare time after your 9 to 5, you have to value your time. If you're going to spend a year on a game, you have to be able to make that time back. And you might say, well, I learned some skills. Well, you can learn them faster if you follow step number one right. Let's say I do have an ambitious goal that I know will take me 3 to 5 years. And there's probably like 5 to 10 things that I need to learn. Instead of deciding to do the one big game, I would split it. If I have 5 new things to learn, I'll probably divide it into 5 different prototypes and do a game that involves that skill first. Especially when you're a beginner, this is huge because you're gonna be able to iterate a lot faster and you'll be able to avoid burnout because you can take a break in between each prototype without feeling like you're losing time on your game, that you have a vision for what your game is gonna look like and that it's not longer than a year. For example, right now, what I'm gonna show you in this YouTube channel, I'm working on a game called Monkey Wizard. It's a Gorilla Tag clone so that I can iterate a lot faster. My goal for this project is to get better in-app purchases and subscriptions. I already know how to do it. The main thing I want to do is understand the economy system in the VR space. I want to be able to tell you that it's a viable option to make money. So first step is make the right goal, right? I picked one goal, which is understanding the economy system and improving on it, and being able to know how to sell cosmetics and make money on a multiplayer game that's free to play. So looking into the free to play model in VR. That's it. That's all I'm learning. And even that is huge, right? Because there's a lot of variables. I made other games that made money in the past, but this, I want to be able to be 100% in control myself and be able to make all the decisions and prove that I can do it. Okay, so that's a goal. I broke it up. I made all the other things simple, having the right goal. If you split up your games into multiple pieces, you now have scripts that you can reuse for your bigger project. There's a fallacy out there about, oh, you should not make your dream game first. And while that's true, you should still focus on your dream game. That's your motivation. That's why you want to get into game dev. The first game I worked 3 years ago was Sail VR, single player. This was a student at a university that wanted to make a pirate game in VR, and he made it work. He made his dream come true. But the way you do that, you have to break it up into pieces. Sail right now is a multiplayer game, but when it started, it was a single player game. And so there's a lot of things that are moving pieces. But he started with a small chunk. I'm gonna make a single player game because we can do that. That's within the budget. And now he's working on the multiplayer version. Make sure that your goals align with what you're trying to learn. If you're a very beginner, don't focus on login or in-app purchases. Just focus on the core experience, the gameplay. What is it about the game that you're trying to learn? And even split that up into smaller pieces. But whatever you do, break it up into smaller prototypes, small game jams for yourself. And if you do this, knowing that your end goal is your dream game, that will help you avoid burnout because this is all leading up to your dream game. So having step one is huge because it will give you smaller chunks to work on that lead up to a bigger overarching goal. And you'll be able to use the next few steps on top of this to not burn out. So let's go to step number 2. Avoid pain points. So how do you avoid pain points? In game development, you wear a lot of hats. It's just, especially in indie game dev, it's just the way it is. And you have to be aware of those. Write the things that you are doing, especially when you're not coding. What are you spending time on? Publishing, making images, rigging, animating, modeling, texturing. You have to be a producer, a director, sound, recording videos, editing videos for a trailer, back end, front end, UI. The list goes on. There's a lot of things that you got to do. And how are you going to tackle some of those? And how are you going to make sure that you don't spend so much time rigging and animating? Unless that's what you love to do, right? And you're really good at it. First of all, what are the things that you just do not want to touch? It's okay to avoid those. Whether it's avoiding them by paying someone or having an audio library. Now with AI, there's a lot of with sound effects, rigging, animating, sometimes scripting. Have something there so that it's not missing and you can move on to something else. Okay, so think about the things that you absolutely cannot do and figure out how can you do that with the least amount of effort and just focus on the stuff that it is important and key for your game. Another thing is sometimes you might not have the budget or money to pay someone else. So you have to figure out, okay, I have to do all these things. How am I going to leverage my time. Another thing that I found out is canva.com. That's good for images that you want to put out for covers, icons, etc. All those images that sometimes you have to put in different resolutions, and it's a pain in the butt to resize. The Canva paid version has a resizing option, which is really nice. And you have to understand that your time is valuable. How much is your time worth? Is it worth $30 an hour? Is it worth 10? If you value your hour at 30 or 40 and this will save you an hour or two, that's worth $60, right? If it saves you time. And if you can't pay for it and you have to do it yourself, schedule when you're going to do these things and spread them out so you don't burn out. That's why one of the reasons why people burn out is because they're doing things they don't like. The whole point of making games is to switch from your 9 to 5 and make this your full-time gig instead of a hobby because you love it. Why switch to game dev if you're going to do things you don't like again? So figure out how to avoid pain points. Maybe bring in a partner that can do the other side. But again, if you're going to split revenue 50-50, your partner better be sure that you know how to finish your games. And that's why I'm making these videos, to help you finish. So step 2, avoid pain points. And if you need to treat yourself, plan for maybe doing it on Monday and treating yourself after you're done, or Friday. Today, I'm going to do this thing that I don't like to do. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go get ice cream. Step 3, knowing your physical limitations. You don't get burnt out from doing game dev. You burn out from your physical limitations, whether it's sitting in front of a computer for long hours or sitting Monday through Friday. So you have to figure out your routine. When are you doing this job? When are you doing game development? You're going to do it in the mornings, in the evenings, after, before work. Do you have a family? How do you balance that? You choose a time that you block out and you use it. And then you make sure you get adequate rest and adequate nutrition. It's an investment in your time. If it's worth your time because you're burning out because maybe you're making food or trying to figure out what to buy for groceries, and the list goes on stuff you have to do, chores and whatnot, then spend money paying for someone to do chores or your meal planning. Buy back your time. I know at first it might seem counterintuitive, but if you have time on your plate and you're able to do things without getting burnt out, then you'll be that much faster and more productive. If you are not feeling it that day, right? You get into the computer or you get into game dev, you don't know what your goals are, then just say no. Don't push it. Don't force it. Get out, walk around, do something and brainstorm and figure out why you're stuck. If you need to, come to this channel. That's why I have it here, to help you continue to move forward. I'm pretty sure by the time you see this and the time you start implementing these things, this channel will have a lot of steps, and I'll be walking through my process of game development. So you can come here, comment about getting stuck. You can comment in this video if you're already stuck somewhere. Let's talk about it. I have a school community to help you. It's okay to rest, but you have to figure out when and where and what time and what it is that helps you relax and rest. Maybe you need to rest 1 day a week. What day is that? Maybe you need to sleep in that day. Maybe you love watching Netflix, sitting in the couch. It's okay to do that. You need to figure out what your body needs to recuperate for the week. Figure out your daily schedule, figure out your weekly schedule, and maybe your monthly, if you need to take a vacation and whatnot. You have step 1 that helped you cut out your goals into smaller chunks so that you can take bigger breaks in between those prototypes and you still feel accomplished. Whereas if you had a 5-year-long project and you took a break right in the middle, you come back, it's like, I don't feel motivated to do this. But if you broke it up into prototypes, you finish a prototype and you reward yourself by taking a vacation, you come back, you know what the next prototype is. You have it listed out. And so these steps build on each other. Setting goal, avoiding the pain points, and now balancing your physical limitations. If you do these things, you'll know what's next and you'll be excited about it because you have energy. You're not doing this at the end of the day, dragging your feet. You plan for it and you know it's coming. And if it's not happening, you readjust. Figure out what of these steps you did wrong. Did you bite more than you can chew? Are you doing things you don't like to do? Or are you not taking a break at the right time or doing the right things to take a break? What if I make games, is playing games the right break time? Maybe I'm spending too much screen time. It's hurting me. If I'm doing VR games, am I going to go play VR games? Maybe I play another platform. Or maybe I just go outside and touch some grass. So there's a lot of things you can do. But the main thing is the principles. I want to stress it because it's not just something random. You have to plan it out, setting the right goals, avoiding pain points, and knowing your limitations. If you do these three things, you'll never burn out. And if you do burn out, figure out where you need to change on these things and continue to improve so that you can have an amazing time and invest on yourself. In the next video, I'm going to talk more about this step 1 and how I'm doing it with Monkey Wizards and show you where I'm at. See you in the next video.